All right, guys, coming to you live. I know it's an awkward day to come live on a Wednesday, but I just decided that it would be appropriate to come live, basically. Um, so I've been looking at a couple of videos. People have been sending me videos and things like that, and I've been kind of like just analyzing everything that has been happening and everything that continues to happen in this Western society and in westernized places and in places that just pretty much identify with the Western liberalism ideology and just the the I guess you can say the utopian ideology in which the West presents. It's really kind of crazy, but hey, this is what we're living. This is what we're living in right now, and one can only pretty much adapt to it and not be of it, basically. And when you look at all the things that are going on right now, you just have to wonder, hey, what's really what's behind all of this? And it just keeps on getting worse. I know some people have like optimism. I'm not saying be a pessimist. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is just be realistic. You know what I mean? Like just really kind of be realistic with the situations that we find ourselves in right now. Um and you you basically should just take it how you want it, man. I'm just trying to give my perspective on the way I see things right now. You know, I this is just what I see going on. And I hate to say it, but it's just some crazy things that we're living in. Um and so from an Islamic perspective, right? We just look at the hadiths and we can just point this across the board. Okay. Now, hold on just a minute. Let me just find it. Let me just find it. Hold on just a minute. I'm looking for it really quickly. Okay, hold on just a minute. I'm looking for it. Because the thing is about the situation we're in right now, even. Walaikum salam, rahmatullah. Yeah, I wanted to stay on there longer, but I just couldn't, because I had some other things I wanted to say, but I guess he had to keep it moving. But I guess I mean, I know it's bad where he is, but he should understand that it's even maybe even in a worse place in over here, you know. But anyhow, that's just, you know, that is a big problem that the Muslim men are or the quote unquote Muslim leadership are falling deeper into that trap as well, of liberalism, of feminism, and they don't really want to put their foot down, and it is causing problems. It's causing a lot of problems, actually. You know, so I want to like get into this real quick. Um, okay, let me see. Let me see. Looking for something. I'm looking for something. Where is this? All right, hold on just a minute. I gotta look for this thing, man. It was here. Okay, so if I can find it, let me see if I can find it on this damn web page, man. Okay, so we look at the first obvious thing of this society. You know, as much as as much as they would like us, the world to believe, everybody to believe in other parts of the world, like as much as they would like Syria to believe, as much as they would like the different parts of the Middle East to believe, as much as they would like Africa to believe that this society, this Western society, is the most civilized, advanced society. They would love all the world to believe that. Okay, and they try to present it in such a way, but we know that that is not the case at all. Okay, this society has normalized so many uh ir- unnormal things that this society is as backwards. Okay, it really is. And one of the things that has invited the wrath of God is the fact of how easy Xena is. Okay, they've normalized it to a point where it's just like you can go. Ah, God, put it this way: you can go to a gym, and it's very possible for you even to get Xena at a gym. If you're a man, please don't please do not, if you're looking for a profession as a man, please do not become a massage therapist. It's very that's even the more easier place to get it. and you can get it with people's wives. That's how it is. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're going back home to get wives. They have no problem. And so when you look at society, okay, in a nutshell, we see the effects of some of these things. Accidental babies, okay? Babies who don't even have a say in the matter, who are, of course, aborted, okay? Um, all types of things, okay, we see happening in society because of Xena. All right. And that's not the only thing. But I hate to say it, but who's at the helm of all of this? Who, who's at the helm of all of this? Who is the one actually doing these things? The reason why I guess you can say that I guess you can say men take part in these activities is because, like, let's be honest, it's very hard to get the activities. It's very hard to get access to these activities unless you're that apex man who just pretty much has it all, right? Then you have unlimited access. But those men are very few and far between, right? It's very few and far between of those men, right? So with that being said, um, th- with that being said, is that how should I put it? We're basically we're basically at, it's a domino effect. That's the thing. It's a domino effect. Because when you look at the society right now, right? You look at the society right now. I'm going to try to break down the domino effect. Okay, you have women, right? They want access to an apex man, right? That man um that man gets the access, right? With that man having that access, right? It leaves out the other men to be invisible, right? Those men are invisible, which leads to which actually leads to those men becoming angry. Usually those top apex men don't want commitment or don't want to commit to these women, so those women in return become very angry and bitter at all the men, not just the men who didn't want commitment from them, but all the men, even men that had nothing to do with their situations that they're in. You know what I mean? So the thing is, and I'll read this. I'm gonna read this, and then I'll get ready to go into some videos. And I think I read this on a previous video, but let me just read it again. see. Okay, so I'm gonna read this. Forgive my tajweed. I read in riwayat to warsh. I'm gonna translate it, and the thing is when I look at Islam, right? And I'm not trying to get anybody to convert to Islam. That's on you. If you want to come into the fold, you can come into the fold, no problem. Okay, the fold is open. You can come into this affair. It's not a problem. Okay. Um. Now, the thing is when I did comparative religion, right? When I studied about like comparative religion and things like that, and I really went into it and everything. Um, I just found that was this was just like it was just it made sense. Everything made sense basically. It was just pretty spot on, right? Everything was pretty spot on when I looked at the dynamics in which this presented. So what I'm and the thing is I looked at Christianity, I looked at Judaism, I looked at all these different I looked at all these different these different systems, and I just found that Islam was the the one that's most accurate and made the most sense. You know, that's the thing. Like that's just what I came to. The understanding I came to that I derived from looking at different belief systems. Just seeing, okay, what makes sense. So now what we're going to see, okay, is this verse. And I'm just going to read it real quick. Just give me a second. And I'm going to read also the translation of the verse too for a better idea, of the verse. So the verse goes like this. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وما أراد عن ذكر فإن له معايشة فنحكى وتحسره يوم قيامة أعمى. And so what that means is basically, and whoever turns away from my remembrance, indeed he will have a depressed, i.e., difficult life, and we will gather him on the day of resurrection blind. Now, when we look at the situation with modern women and things like that, part of their life they live on cruise control. Let's be honest, they do. I mean, all they have to do is start an OnlyFans, or all they pretty much have to do is show up, and there's bound to be someone there to pander to them, bound to be someone there that is going to, just pretty much give them what they want. They live their life on cruise control. They don't have to do much, right? As a matter of fact, that's the reason why the situation is the way it is right now is because the simple fact is they really don't have to do much, they really don't have to like entertain. They don't really have to like make an effort, so to say, to really prove their worth. Part of that life is on cruise control. But when it gets to the other part of the life and that runs out, because during that time that they're living on cruise control, most of them aren't remembering God at all. I mean, I'm going to show you some videos that a lot of them have what I like to call Pharaoh syndrome, where, unfortunately, they actually think they are God. And I will show you a video of that in that situation. It's sad to say it, but this is what we're dealing with. You know, and yeah. So the thing is, if if this is the case right now, if this is if this if we're going through it, if we're going through things right now, with this whole dynamic we're living in, right? Um, then the best way to, like, basically, in essence, navigate is accordingly and not carelessly. That's the one thing about a man that's different from a woman. This is the thing. A man has to be careful. Man has to, like, navigate in a certain way. Women can navigate any way they want, in a pretty much in a certain way they can, like, operate in a way they choose to operate in. But when it comes to us, we have to be extra careful as men. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, we really have to be, like, very careful the way we operate. You know what I mean? The way we move. So, like, we can't make. There's very little room for error if you're a man. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay. So you look at the dynamics we're living in. If you're in the West, you look at the moral decadence. You look at what what kind of things are accepted here. Okay, pretty much anything goes now in the West. Anything. You're seeing people even mutilate their bodies to look a certain way. You're seeing people, for example, there was this one person that I was like, what in the flying hell is this? Um, there was one person who decided to learn, um there was one person who decided that they wanted to be a damn lizard, and they, like, just got the whole thing done, split their tongue open and everything, and it was actually accepted. They actually accepted these kind of things, these kind of practices. So what I'm saying is that, these things have been normalized. And so I hate to say it, at the forefront is women. I'm not the type to blame it on a woman, but let's face it, a lot of things, like, although men are builders, men, build territory, men, do certain things, right? They do that. But a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times men do things because it's compelled by women to do them. You know, they're compelled by women to do those things. For example, you look at, and shout out to the brother Mahdi Tijani. He kind of corrected me. I appreciate that correction. But let's just say scholars, like, when you look at scholars, a lot of times scholars will do things, or let's just say, I'm not going to call them scholars. Let's just say certain leadership will do things because of women, because they know that if they do this, okay, I'm going to get that woman audience. You know what I mean? That's the thing. They're going to get that woman audience. And so this is why they do it. It's because they know, and this is why they say it, because they know that the woman audience is going to get like, they'll get a, how shall I say it, a positive response from saying certain things in which women will like. This is why you have the advent of dating coaches. Okay? A dating coach is like, when you look at the whole situation of a dating coach, the dating coach, its number one um its number one target is females. Okay? When you even look at, for example, a pastor, a pastor's number one target is females. Because when you look at, I'm gonna be honest, I don't go to church and I don't have a need to go to church. But when you look at the church, the majority congregation is going to be female. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Those females finance, um those females finance the that pastor's lifestyle, in essence, because they're paying the offering and things like that. So this is the thing, you know. And what I want to show you is some things, what I want to show you is some things that basically, basically, you know, basically align with the point that I was making before. You know what I mean? I'm gonna I'm gonna show you basically something. Um, just give me a second. That, goes to this point that I'm making. Goes to this, the point that I'm making. Just give me a second. Just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. What I also want to say too is that it's not a matter of tearing the modern woman down. It's a matter of looking at the effect that she has had on society in the West. It's looking at how things have changed in such a way that every year things are becoming more unrecognizable. For example, for example, okay, if you look at like the year 2000, and I don't, social media was around back then, but not to the certain extent. I think like 2000, 2004 was the advent of MySpace, but you would still have those interactions. You would still be able to go up to people. You would still have more organic interactions. Um, but right now, you don't. Every year, it seemed like things just got worse. 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 That's what happened. You know what I mean? Um, and unfortunately, as I said, it's just going to keep on getting worse. You know how they say, be the change you want to see? You can't be the change you want to see if, unfortunately, the majority of people don't want the change to happen. Okay? That's the problem. The majority of people do not want change to happen. The majority of people actually like this situation. That's the whole issue that we're in right now. Okay? A minority of us decided that, hey, we're not with this stuff. And it's very hard, right? But unfortunately, a lot have conformed. A lot have, like, pretty much, I hate to say it, the white towel is waved. We're in a, like, I guess you can say, a precarious situation right now where we have to just navigate in a certain way. And it's just part of what a man has to do, you know, when the odds are against that man. You know, that's the thing. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the odds are against those people who want um those who want regular things, a regular family, like a good life, a life where you know things are done on their, I guess you can say things are done on their terms without harming anybody. That's the thing. That's what men want for the most part. But society doesn't want men to even have that. Society wants you, especially in the West, society wants you to, be okay with just, I guess, the lot, accept the lot in which you are given, even though if that lot is detrimental to your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, you know, that's the thing. That's what we're facing. Because everything here is hyper, okay? Hypersexuality, hyper consumerism, and things like that, right? And you may argue the point. Here's the thing. Some people will argue the point that some people will some people will argue the point that, right, this is one point that some people may argue that by being, say you're an average guy, say you're making anywhere from 50,000 to maybe like 70,000, right? Some people will argue with you and say, "Oh, the reason why you're not happy is because you don't have what the other people have." You know what I mean? And the thing with that is that yes, there is some curiosity about what it is to be amongst the hyper rich, or in that kind of like tax bracket where the money is unlimited. Yes, there is curiosity to that. People have a curiosity with that, right? But then sometimes you look at those people and they're doing things that are like, you're wondering, okay, why are they doing that? They have everything. Like, why is there a need for them to do that? Because some of some of their things that they're doing, you're like, huh? Like, what's going on here? Um, and so that's what I want to. That's kind of where I want to touch at with certain things. I want to kind of tap into certain things in regards to that. I'm gonna go live. I mean, excuse me, I'm already live, but I'm going to commentary on a couple of videos, basically, quite a few, about like why I'm looking at this situation and I'm saying to myself, you know, yo, are these women really like self-aware of what's going on? Okay. I'll give another example real quick before I do the video, or before I do the commentary. Give me a minute. Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La takunu kaladina nasa'ullah fa nasa'ahum wa anfusahum ulaika hum fasikun. And so what that means is that, and do not be like those who forgot Allah, so he made them forget themselves. It is they who are truly rebellious. And I mean, when you look at modern women, what are they? Rebellious. They're going against the natural order of things. So much so that they've forgotten who they are, even. Okay? They forgot their role as a mother. They forgot their role as a helpmate. They forgot their role as their husband's, like, part of their husband's unit, basically. They forgot these things. Okay? How they forgot these things, we can just say that a lot of it has to do with the ideology in which they were indoctrinated into. Okay? We can make a clear assessment on that and know that is the case. more than anything. Is that the indoctrination of, we can say, radical feminism, the sexual liberation movement, which says, hey, my body, my choice, but if I'm not attracted to you, don't look at it. Don't do that. You're a pervert, right? So I'm gonna get into this real quick. I'm just trying to get my phone plugged up. Give me a second. Hopefully this plug works, man. I'm telling you about these chargers. You go through so many USB cords with these darn phones, bro. I'm telling you. It's like, it's annoying. Okay, let's see if this one works better. Just put this one over here. Okay, so um I'm gonna go into some videos. And first, I want to kind of go into the foundations of a man. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So this brother that I'm about to show right now, he is a Fulani descendant from America, and he brings some good points, some very very good points, uh, very 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 good points. And so, what I'm going to bring to the forefront is these points that he's making. And so, let me go ahead and bring those points up. And I'm going to relate those points to the culture, the the American culture, the Western culture, and things like that. All right, hold on just a minute. See if I can find the video. Second. Give me a second. Yes, this brother right here, shout outs to him. He has a lot of good things on his channel. I don't know if he makes videos anymore, but he had some good stuff. He had some good footage, some very, very good footage. Okay, here it is.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Elijah Shabazz, aka Elias Shabazz Bob. I'm reporting to you from Guinea, Conakry. I am honored to be here in front of a gold mine. And what I'm going to discuss today is very important to me and very important to Black people in America and throughout the world. When we're taught inside of Western education, we oftentimes are made to believe that our people were in the jungles of Africa. We were very savage.
And that's one thing I can say about the Western education system that I had to deal with, was this kind of notion that, hey, because I knew this coming from Africa. I'm like, yo, this is not true at all. But you had to, like, unfortunately, be in order to pass the class, you had to endure the BS that was spoken of in that class. And the BS was, um you know, how unhinged we were, how just dumb we were in Africa and even in Haiti when you're like, yo, if we were dumb and unhinged, then how did Haiti become a first black republic then? If it was dumb and unhinged. You know what I mean? Um, so that's one element we had to deal with, unfortunately.
We had no education whatsoever, when in fact that is far, far from the truth. If you know the history of ancient Timbuktu, it was one of the most literary societies on earth. There were more books in Timbuktu than there was in Europe during the heyday of Timbuktu. So I was always fascinated with this knowledge that was found in Timbuktu. I spent many, many nights on the internet looking at copies of the ancient manuscripts, and I even desired myself to go to Timbuktu. Timbuktu is very, 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 very far. You have to take a plane to Mali, then you have to get on a boat for like 2 days and ride up a river. And at this present time, there's war going on there. There's fighting. So when I made my first visit to Fukajala, I met an elder named Amadou Taylor Jala, and he gave his grandchild some books. And in those books, they were the very, very same type of books that you find in ancient Timbuktu.
So to I want to bring up a point in those books, in those like books that they talk about, they have the foundation of the manhood. They have the foundation of different things. They have the foundation of astronomy. They have the foundation of these certain things. You know what I mean? Um, the thing is about it, though, however, is that they alchemized it into a way that aligned with the oneness of God. You know, that's the whole thing. Whereas you look at, so they even had the elements of astrology in there. You know what I mean? The problem is that now when you look at it in the Western sense, it's um it's all messed up. You know what I mean? It's all mixed up. It's basically sorcery. When you look at astrology right now, I think it's like sorcery. It is sorcery. And yet, guess what? The number one followers of astrology are freaking women. Okay. There will be women who will tell you, okay, they can't be compatible with you because you're a Leo or something like that. There'll be women who will tell you they can't like mess with you because you're a Cancer, you know. Yeah, this is really happening. Okay. And then there are other women who will call you lame and call you like, will give you the red flag syndrome because you don't believe in any of that stuff at all. I've been called this many times because I believe in what was told to me. And let me get into that real quick. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to put this screen down real quick. Just real quick, I'm going to put it down because I want to pull up a text in regards to even the way you're supposed to look at astrology. You know, let me see. Okay, so this text was passed down to me. Um, this was passed down to me. You know what I mean? So Let me see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to the wisdom of the stars, which a lot of these women and even the guys who engage this don't have an understanding of. Okay. Um when it comes to the study of the stars, um the problem with it is that these people want to use it to like try to predict things. These people want to use it to like try to manipulate creation, meaning that, oh, if you're a certain star sign, that means you act like this way. And it's not even your nature to act in the way you act. That's where the whole problem lies. They'll be like, oh, I'm this way because my star sign falls on this type of thing, right? And the thing is about the stars and the study of the stars, right? This has been going on for some time now, right? And I'm not denying it, I'm not denying those kind of things, but I kind of have like just a simple point in regards to the study of it, you know. Now, when it comes to the direction of prayer, yeah, you have to study the stars. If, like, say, if you were in that time, you were in a desert, you had to study the stars, right? It's a sound science, right? The problem with the Western women and certain guys who fall into that science, here's the problem with it. They believe that like things in existence, like power, strength, and decrees are attributed to like those science. You know what I mean? Which as what I believe, okay, is that God is in charge of all the affairs. He creates the affairs in existence. He manages them and all these stars and alignments and things like that um are due to him, you know. So if you fall on a certain date, that's due to him, right? Your personality doesn't depend on the damn star sign or damn horoscope, okay? It doesn't depend on that thing, you know. That's the thing. But some people rely on it. Some people rely on it and think that that's the end all and be all. That's where we get the problems from. But I bring up this point because in Timbuktu they had like loads of they had um they had loads of uh books on stars and all of that stuff. You know, that's the thing. The difference is and I'm just gonna say this and end on this note with this, as I said, the difference between like actually having studying the stars and stuff like that is people study them and they like depend on them instead for instead of depending on God. That's not it's not good. But let's continue.
And when I did further research, I found out that the Fulani, the Fulbe from Mali, from Timbuktu, they came to Guinea, particularly in Fouta-Djallon, and they established the theocratic democracy in Fouta-Djallon. So the same type of knowledge that was there, you can also find it here in Fouta-Djallon. In fact, Prince Abdul Rahman, who was brought to America, he studied in Timbuktu. He was from Fouta-Djallon, but he studied in Timbuktu. So when I saw these books, I said, wow, they're the exact same kind I was studying online. And I feel so blessed by Allah that he put these books in my path and allowed me to have access to them. So if you take a look down, these books here, if you look at the writing, same type of writing that you find in the books in Timbuktu, the footnotes written on the side of the documents, written in Arabic script. Now, what I want to say about this Arabic script is that some of it is actually Arabic words, others are Pula. Most of the scholars in Timbuktu, they wrote Pula, but they use Arabic script to write their Pula. So this Arabic is a variation of what you call Fusha, modern standard Arabic. And let me just say this about Islam. You know, a lot of people try to separate Timbuktu from Islam. There is no knowledge in Timbuktu that doesn't begin with the Holy Quran.
And that's a good point too, because the thing is that, and I've noticed what Muslim women try to do in the West is they try to separate Islam from daily living. Like they try to separate Islam from, for example, like if they go into college or if they're trying to become a lawyer or they're trying to become doctors and stuff like that, they separate Islam from that and they adopt kind of this secularized, liberalized way to go about it. Whereas we do need people in the, I guess you can say, we do need people who are in those specialties. You know, we do need like doctors and things like that, female doctors and stuff in those fields. But the problem lies with how they go about being in those fields. You know, that's the whole problem. You know, it basically Islam takes a back seat when it comes to those fields. You know what I mean? That's the problem. That's the whole issue.
Scholars start with the Holy Quran, and then the subjects in the Holy Quran, they branched out and they wrote extensively on every single subject. So if you look at this document here, you will see it starts off with the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Every document in all these writings start off with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Sallallahu Sayyid, Muhammad, Nabi, Al-Kareem, Fa Allah. So what it's basically saying is, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, is giving blessings on Muhammad, the Prophet of Allah. And then from there, it goes into the subject matter. Here you see a drawing geometric patterns here. When I was in Futajalan, the first time I went to Futajalan, I seen something similar to this in a Quran that was 150 years old. And I asked the elder, what does this type of drawing mean? They said, when you get to this type of this pattern here, it means that you stop, you pause, then you go out and you do some work. Because prayer, study, and work is a part of the Fulbe regimen.
And so this is why this is in essence monk mode. What he just described is basically monk mode. And this is the mode that you have to adapt in order for you not to be devoured in the belly of the beast. In order for you to be calm, tranquil in the belly of the beast. Prayer, study, work, and I'm going to add working out. Okay? Those 4 things. Study, that could be like just reading books and just branching and enhancing your knowledge. That could be taking maybe a course, learning a new language or something like that. That's what that means. Okay? This has to be, this is my regiment, alhamdulillah, but let it be your regiment too.
And that's why you find the Fulani, wherever they are on the earth, they're very enterprising. They own businesses, they own their own shops, because the very culture is that you pray, you study, and you go out and do some work. You don't sit around all day and be a scholar.
And that's another thing. When you look at the leadership that is available, they don't usually have any specialties in anything else. For example, the Derek Jacks, the dating coaches, the Kendra G's, the Melly Monacos, okay? Those people don't have any other specialties, whereas they wouldn't even have to do what they do and give bad advice and lead people astray. They don't have any other specialties. So this is the thing that we're faced with, okay? In a nutshell. So when you look at it, and also some of these TikTokers, like there's this one guy, Poppy Don or something like that. He doesn't have any other specialties but to pander. Okay? Most of the people who do pander don't have any other specialties. All right? Or if they do have another specialty, it's not adding monetarily to what they need. Okay? Like there was this one white dude. He was a coke sniffer. He was hating on Passport Bros because he went to Columbia. But he's a struggling musician. So, of course, he's going to pander. It's profitable.
In fact, they say it was the Fulani, the Fulbe, that set the curriculum for Timbuktu. And within that curriculum, every scholar had to have a degree in business because they didn't want no scholar to be dependent on the people.
And that's exactly the thing with modern women. When you look at OnlyFans, right? They say that they're empowered. They say that now finally they have autonomy on what to do with their body, right? However, the thing is with OnlyFans women, who are they dependent on for the money? Men who decide that they want to pay and watch their content. So again, Are they really empowered women as they say they are? If they're still depending on men to actually pay and subscribe for them to get the views that they seek? That's the thing.
They have systems like that where the scholar goes around and teach and he takes money from the people. But that wasn't the curriculum in ancient Timbuktu. Every scholar had to own his own business. So he was.
So that's the thing about that. With me, I could easily pander on YouTube. I could easily pander on TikTok. Hell, I can pander on Instagram. I could pander on let's say Clubhouse, but I can drop my Cash App if I wanted to. You know what I mean? But my goal on this YouTube channel, inshallah, is to get monetized for little side investment change. But I won't drop. I'm not going to ask anybody or put my Cash App down, you know, because I guarantee you that maybe I can make hundreds and hundreds of dollars if I was pandering to women, right? But let's continue on because he's going to say something that is really true.
Independent of the people, and they did that to also guard the scholars and the imams from corruption. Because if these people over here are giving you money, then you're going to talk in a way that pleases them.
Bingo. So that's the thing about, for example, Sierra. Sierra is a full-on married woman. But she knows that if she made a song about being independent, being a boss babe, since the majority of programming is boss babe culture and things like that, she knew that that would be more fulfilling and more profitable than actually encouraging women to have families, women to have like get married and things like that. But the reality is, I don't even consider her married. I consider her like I consider Russell Wilson just a piggy bank for Sierra. You know what I mean? Although I believe they did have kids together, it's still, you know, we know that that relationship is not fulfilling because if it was fulfilling, you know, his playing level wouldn't have went down as it has gone down. It has gone down a lot, you know.
You're not going to speak the truth because you're going to please the people that are giving you money. So if you have your own business and you're making your own money, then you speak the truth freely. You don't care whether this person like it, this person like it.
And that's the thing. That's what Monk Mode's about. You know, I have my boxing, I have my IT, so that's why I can speak the way I speak because like those things are giving me what I need in order to function. But if I didn't have those things, then maybe I would say your wife is always right. Maybe I would say things like shout outs to the single moms out there doing their thing, raising strong men. Maybe I would say those things, but I don't need to say those things, okay? That's the thing. And so when you look at dating roaches, that's kind of like the dynamic we're in right now. You know what I mean? Which leads these women to be even lost even more and have the curse of Allah upon them. And let me go ahead and go to something else real quick. Just give me a minute. Mm. Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't like this scholar that much. I mean, I kind of like, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of I kind of stand clear from him in terms of like what he brings, like what the ideology he brings. I kind of like um I kind of uh, you know
And one of the things the Prophet ﷺ said, if a culture, if fornication becomes prevalent in a culture, then prepare yourselves for the wrath of Allah.
and so that's the thing. You look at how fornication is normalized here, although like when you look at it, a few guys are getting the majority of fornication, right? And um a majority of women are a majority of modern women are giving those guys that fornication, right? The thing is, if a woman likes you or desires you, you're not going to jump she's not going to make you jump through hoops as she would her boyfriend. I hate to say it. I really hate to talk like this. I really, really hate to talk like this. But I am going to talk like this. A woman, a modern woman will treat a man that she had a fling with better than she will treat her own boyfriend. Okay? I'm dead serious about that. And the reason why is the guy who had the fling, the guy who had the fling basically is less available and does not make herself as available to her as a boyfriend would, you know. That's the whole thing. That's why unfortunately a lot of these guys are getting cheated on. It's sad, but it this is what we're in the West at least.
You see. And the wrath is in those children because they're filled with rage. And look at what's up. We've now reaching 50% in this country. Children born out of wedlock, we're reaching 50% or past. And look at all the crimes. Look at all the violence.
Okay, now in that point, it's probably way past 50% now across the board in the West. It's not just including it's not just including the yani the black women, it's including all the women. You'll be surprised how many, well, to a certain extent, I'm kind of not surprised at Latin women. I'm kind of not surprised there. But when it comes to white women, or let's just say, so YouTube doesn't censor, I'll just use my language. When it comes to Tubac women, they have that problem. When it comes to Belejo women, they have that problem. When it comes to Asian women that in this country, they have that problem. Okay, it's more than 50% right now that babies are being born out of wedlock. It's way more.
There's rage. If you go into the prisons in this country and ask these men, they don't have fathers.
Okay, and now I want to bring up another point too. There's rage, but sometimes the opposite happens. That rage becomes zestiness. That's why you see a lot of these boys right now are getting turned out in order to be, unfortunately, women. Okay? This is what's happening too. The other extremes happening. you still are going to get your Pookie and Ray Rays from single mother households. Don't get it wrong. You're going to get Pookie and Ray Ray from, or you're going to get Chads from single Tubak households, right? So, but you're also going to get, you're also going to get Jeff, who wants to now be Jessica from single mother households. You're also going to get Terrell, who wants to be Tyra from single mother households. All right. So the other extreme happens too, that we're seeing unfold before our very eyes.
They didn't have father. They don't even know who their fathers were. That is a,
and that's another thing too. Okay, let's listen.
That is oppression.
It is, and these modern women do not care about oppression, because what a modern woman will do so much is that she hates the father of the kid, that she will number one say to the kid, oh, your father wasn't shit. Excuse my language. Your father was not anything. He didn't want to be with you. He didn't even want you to be born. They'll use that card. Or they'll use the other card where it's like, they'll say, oh, they'll use the other card where the guy they slept with wasn't anything, but then this beta comes along, they sleep with him, right? And then all of a sudden he's now the father figure, but he's not the actual biological father. I'll give you an example. You look at, I don't know if you've heard of this show, King of the Hill, but there was this show back in the day, King of the Hill, and there was this guy named John Redford. He was like this Indian guy, and the woman had an affair with the Indian dude, and so the Indian dude birthed a kid, and that kid actually the husband was actually taking care of the kid like it was his own. You know what I mean? And that's what we see happening more times than not, right?
That's unjust. You can't do that to a human being. They have the right to know who their father is. And so Islam came to preserve that right through the prohibition of fornication and through the guidelines of Sharia in proper marriage. And this is why Islam recognized any marriage outside of Islam. If two people become Muslim, they do not have to renew a marital contract. Islam recognizes marriages of other deens. You see, it's as long as it is a marriage that is recognized by the custom of a people, but two people living together with no responsibilities, Islam rejects that completely. And people forget that in 1968, it was major news in this country that a woman on the East Coast was kicked out of her university because she was living in sin. 1968, kicked out of a university because she was living in sin. People forget how quickly morals have changed in this culture. There was an article in News and World Report about fornication, premarital sex. And what they were saying was even conservatives won't condemn adult consensual premarital sex. They'll condemn teenage sex, but they will not condemn consenting adults, because everybody's doing it, the article said. Well, why should the teenagers not do it if that's their example? You see, why? And everything in this culture is saying have fun, enjoy yourself. The media is showing it, promoting fornication. Most of the
now women have came to this channel, right? Women have came to this channel and have called me what they call an incel. Um, even today at the gym, which I don't like going to the gym. I only go to the gym because I have to go to the gym, but I don't like going to gyms. As a matter of fact, if up to me, I would rent a space out and make my own personal gym in order for me not to be around people and be around what the gym has, which is everybody seeking attention. I can count I I can't count the number of times on my hand how many women were bending over in front of me, and also women who asked if I was using a machine, and I was nowhere near that machine. I had my mat out, and I was using the mat to do the exercises that I need to do. If I was using a machine, why wouldn't I have my gear near the machine? So what I did is, and because I had my earphones on, my earbuds at the time, I had them on. What I did was when they asked me if I was using the machine, I just kind of like waved my hand like, go ahead. That's what I did. It's not about me not attracting women. It's about me not being attracted to the women because of what they have become. Okay? That's where the problem lies. That's why I entered monk mode. It's what these women have become. Maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it would have been a thing to actually look for marriage and actually really try diligently to look for marriage in the West. But those days have now, those are bygone days now. So you shouldn't, looking for marriage in the West shouldn't even be on your mind. Okay?
Television sitcoms and the films, they don't have relationships. Marriages are usually dull and boring.
And that's the thing. That's why you can't really marry you can't really marry a woman who now wants marriage, okay? After being a 304. Because it's going to be looked at as dull and boring for them. Even if you may have some excitement to offer in the marriage. What you consider excitement is not excitement to them. For example, an example of excitement to them is let's just say going to the club, popping bottles, spending hundreds upon thousands of dollars on bottles, and just living it up. Excitement to me is actually being on the Red Sea that Moses parted with some jet skis in Masai, Eritrea. Inshallah, that will come to pass. You know, but Eritrea, they just had a conflict over there due to the damn, may Allah forgive me, but due to the damn Ethiopians and the damn Ethiopian separatist group. So I have to wait to go to Eritrea. But that's something that I plan to fulfill. That's excitement to me. Okay? But those kind of things are not exciting to the modern woman. Right? Well, let's continue.
On television, uninteresting. It's soap operas. What's exciting is illicit relations. Really? This is what they're seeing, and
this is true. When you look at, for example, when you look at the average woman, okay, the average woman of this country, you ask them, okay, you ask the modern women of this country, what do they prefer? Regular relationship dynamics or a toxic relationship dynamic? and they will say toxic, which is why I believe the wrath of Allah is on these women, because they can't even function in peace. You know it's bad when they can't even function in a peaceful, calm, collected setting. Okay?
This is what they're being conditioned to believe.
Now, shout outs to reclaim shout outs to reclaim your shout outs to reclaim your, I think, reclaim your throne for this video that I'm about to show. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. First, let's look at this.
You are uniquely you, and your Starbucks coffee should be too. Whether you like your coffee.
2 days ago, I got this.
Now, one thing I want to say too, okay? You look at who the women make as their leaders and use as their spokespeople, and then you will understand why the wrath of God is on them. This woman, for example, here, Cynthia G, I'll name them. You have Kendra G, you have Cynthia G, you have this one named Tanya TKO, you have this one named Sandra Ray Monique or something. You have this one named Yani damn Drew Afalu. You have another one named who else? Melanie King. They pretty much in essence call to the same exact programming. Okay? But these women are the women that they put on Cloud 9 to do these certain deeds.
Email, and the email says Cynthia G completely craps on Kevin Samuels. Now, of course, I didn't really want to listen to this, but just to see if this was as brutal.
I don't like, by the way, I don't really like O'Shea Du Jackson either, because he's lightweight, kind of pandering. I'm just using his video as an example.
As I thought it was, I listened to the first few minutes, and we're going to listen to that right now. Guys, I will warn you, it's graphic.
Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to go over a video that was sent to me. And listen, I don't want to talk about worm food, kitten in heels. I really don't. I don't want to talk about a bandit who had multiple failed marriages, who was unhealthy, who had a low value life and subsequently a low value funeral. I don't want to talk about a bandit who croaked on top of a throwback because he was so unhealthy. And I called out the fact that he was so unhealthy that his low value heart simply gave out. I don't want to talk about a bandit who became.
So you look at the venom that she's spewing on a man who's deceased. Okay. Me, myself, like if I didn't like someone and they were deceased, I would just say something like good riddance to them and keep it moving. I wouldn't need to crap on them anymore. Okay. They're deceased. Why do I need to do that? I don't need to do that. They're deceased. But this woman went out of her way to crap on a man who is deceased. Okay?
the father of all bandits to some daddy deprived riding struggle bandits who are desperate for a daddy, so they'll jump on any and side.
So the thing is, her hatred, her just hatred for black men, and you know, I would even argue for men in general, you know, just oozes out in this video. Okay. And you look at this, right? And you realize that she's not the only woman who feels this way. It's a lot of the women of Western society who feel this way about men. Okay? Across the board, not just freaking not just freaking, I want to say her and her kind, but all women who bought into this, I like to say, digital programming.
Cyber slurping that they can find. I don't want to talk about this, but I got a video here that does a great job of illustrating Black women's pathology. It does a great job of illustrating the level of conditioning, the Black male worship, the low self-value.
She says Black male worship, right? But when you look at how Black women in this country dislike Black men, you have to ask yourself, yo, where's this woman getting this from?
And Black women's willingness to do anything to get validation from a bandit who ultimately has nothing to offer her. Black women's willingness to do anything to be able to marry a bandit so she can get stuck in poverty.
So it's like, you look at her talking points and you have to understand that, like, 26% of Black women are getting married, so they obviously are not looking for marriage. So what is she talking about? What is she really talking about?
Brag on the internet all for the sake of being able to say she has a husband, yet it's a 90% chance that she's going to be extremely miserable in that relationship. I don't want to talk about this, but this video is an excellent example of what is wrong with the pathology of Black women and why these struggle bandits won't change, why they're not motivated to change, and why they see no value in a group of women who continue to worship them despite their nothing as status in society. And y'all,
You see how much she hates men, and especially how much she hates Black men. And it's like, unfortunately, she has a son. Her son's going to hear this, unfortunately. You know, her son's going to hear this. How is he going to feel?
no, I wasn't one that watched The Kitten in Heels, but what I do know is that he was popularized by a bunch of bandits who ignored his existence when he was telling him how to get the track marks out of their jaws, how to get the crust out of their eyes and the stains from between their teeth. They didn't like him then, but the moment that he decided he wanted to upgrade his not even average at best, but low value existence, because when he was married, he couldn't even provide for his wife.
So, you know, again, spewing this hatred.
He decided to jump on the internet and do what all these bandits do and use Black women as a means to accumulate revenue. And he was very successful in doing that because he understood Black female pathology and he also understood Black male pathology. I never watched The Kitten in Heels. There is not one episode of his that I watched. And quite frankly,
obviously you did, because if you weren't watching him, you wouldn't be talking about him in this way. You watched him because he was talking about you and your situation that you're in right now.
I couldn't understand beyond Black male worship and the low self-esteem of Black women why they would go to a struggle bandit, a failed one, who was in his 50s and wasn't even smart enough to take care of his own health, as he's sitting up there telling Black women to take care of their health and lose weight in order to become validated. The bottom line is Worm Food Samuels was as much of a walking contradiction as any of these struggle bandits are.
Wow. You know, like just you hear the evil in her voice even about the man who's already deceased.
While they'll sit up and talk about Black women need to step away from the table and they're obese, and they'll sit up and they'll even post the obesity rates. But what they won't tell you is that they're the most broke, obese demographic on the planet.
I have a hard time believing that because of the simple fact that, like, most, you know, when you look at most successful athletes on the planet, be it football, be it basketball, be it baseball, be it boxing, be it mixed martial arts, a lot of them are Black, which means that they're not obese at all, which means that they're actually taking care of themselves, looking after themselves in order to perform at the highest level. Let's take it from a high school level. I mean, it starts young. High school sports, it starts right there even. Another area of Black sports excellence is track and field, athletics. You know what I mean? Like, so this is what I'm saying. Like, so this argument really doesn't hold any weight at all.
In addition to them costing the government $50 billion a year by being broke, if you look at the obesity rates, it doesn't just apply to Black women who, by the way, bear children, but it applies to these struggle bandits as well. You would think they were the most in shape demographic, but they are not. But the reality is they don't have to think about losing weight. They don't have to think about bettering themselves. They don't have to think about getting any money. They don't have to think about any type of self-improvement.
Okay. To me, it sounds like she's talking about women because, like, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. You know, most like men have to be on their square, you know. Most modern men don't have the luxury of being able to, how should I put it? They don't have the luxury of being able to you know, lollygag. Nobody's going to take care of them. So what she's saying is like kind of bullocks, as they say. You know, many modern men have to be on their thing. They can't just, like, how should I say it? They can't just, you know, be, they can't be careless. That's the thing. You would think that, for example, that modern men can afford to be careless, right? You would think that modern men, they could be careless, right? They can't be careless. You can't. You have to be in essence you have to be meticulous in certain things. For example, I'll give you an example of being meticulous. Empires weren't built by carelessness. They were built by attention to detail, being meticulous, things like that. But yet the venom that this woman spews, you would think that like these things are not required, you know, like with her. And this is where herein is where the issue lies. You know what I mean? And so this is why it's like, for me, she should just like she just uh she should just be quiet, you know. But let's continue.
Because what they know, just like the clip in the beginning that you heard, is that Black women are always going to choose them. And it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how toxic they are. It doesn't matter how harmful they are. It doesn't matter how abusive, broke, busted, and disgusted, nothing as they are. Black women are still going to tolerate them.
Okay, but you're speaking about the men that you tolerate. Okay? And you're also speaking about the women that tolerate those men, because the majority of women that tolerate those men are in the same position as you, minus maybe minus the following that you have, but they're single mothers.
Now, of course, guys,
Okay, so you heard the hatred of this woman. This should go to tell you, this should go to show you how bad and how dire the situation really is. Okay. And this is why you have to step away from it. Okay. I'll give another example. Shout outs to Reclaim Your Throne. Shout outs to him. He has a very good chat. He has a very, very good channel. You subscribe to him.
Like feet pictures. Hey, don't look at that.
How much should they pay for the feet pics?
Oof, I would make like 500 a day.
Really?
And I have ugly face.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
The fab per week stop. I've sold my friend.
He sold.
So, like, you see the degeneracy. Like, for example, like, I'll give an example. In terms of the feet pic pictures and things like that, there are like guys, unfortunately, and that just shows you that we're kind of part of the reason why these women are cursed. There's certain guys who, you know, unfortunately, they will pay for, you know, feet pictures and things of that nature. And it's just kind of sad, but this is where we're at in the situation. You know, they will actually pay for they'll pay for all types of things. Okay, that's the thing. they'll pay for, they'll pay for all types of these kind of things that should be that should not be, paid for. And that's the reason why, like in our religion, that at least for the women, you know, that's part of their aura. That's part of their, like, being modest is covering their feet. You know what I mean?
Old his friend.
What you have to do?
The butthole.
Wait a minute.
She sucked dick for money. The dude for like $200.
So they're admitting, you see how they're admitting this? They're admitting that they're doing this, okay? They're actually admitting that they're doing it, okay? So they say that, like, oh, you're bashing women and stuff like that, but why? How am I bashing women when they're admitting to their like their degenerate ways?
The guy for 200.
For like a quickie
How long did it last?
in 5 seconds.
Craziest thing I've ever done for money. I took a shit in a parking lot.
500 a day to send feet pictures. She's selling pussy. That's pussy, guys. Wow. So he sold the bitch. He literally trafficked bitch, and then they're mad at Andrew Tate. Let's listen to these other women. Look, these are the male best friends. They don't even know, and they're still infatuated by these women.
That's the thing too. Like, here's the thing that and I don't have any female friends at all. Like, as a matter of fact, like, some women say, can we be friends? And I say, no, I don't do friends. I don't do female friends. I tell them straight up, I don't do female friends. And the thing is that, that's where the mistake lies with the guys, is that they have these female friends in hopes that one day they're going to get in there and then voila, they're in. But that day will never happen. It only happens on damn TV. But TV is not reality. Even reality shows are not even reality. Okay? But they're hoping that happens. But it's not going to happen.
Especially Latin American, Hispanic, South American, they definitely selling, like, it's like that. That's why we was talking about the foreign women coming over here. They selling it to get
Like feet pictures.
Now I want to go over his video. Shout outs to this brother. I like him. I like his style. Very good style. Shout outs to him. Now let's look at this.
Pansexual pandemic, and you do not go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. Reclaim your throne.
Right here, right now.
This brother's a beast in the gym too.
It's the right time.
And this is one thing I want to say too. I like to big up our men. I like to big up men who are doing something. I like to big up the other passport bros who are doing it, because it's like, you're doing it, bro. I'm happy for you, because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is for you, bro. I know how hard you have to work for it to work for you, bro. So I'm happy for you. I'm going to give you your flowers while you're here, basically.
It's the right time. Right now. Till the whole pipe down. Till the nigga pipe down.
So guys, we have to talk about the current state of modern women. It is completely deplorable. So let's get right into it. All right, so this video is pretty self-explanatory. You have a woman who appears to have male DNA coming from her glasses all over her face. walking into public department stores and exposing, you know, unassuming people.
And so this is the thing that I'm trying to say. What in your right mind would give you the idea to get jizzed on and then walk in public with it? And it wasn't only her that did it. Okay. I have many videos of women from all walks of life, including Beledro women, who decided that, oh, I'm going to get jizzed on and then I'm going to walk in public. I'm telling you, it's out of control. Okay? You don't see a man doing this. You don't see a man doing this. I will hope no man does this. You know, but you never know. But this is a health hazard even. Okay?
Let alone children, to this type of debauchery.
Exactly. The children are going to ask and look and say, what is that?
These women should be arrested and locked up. This is absolutely disgusting. These are the same women who were begging us to wear masks just 6 months ago. And now they're over here, you know, with jizz on their faces, walking through department stores. It's absolutely repulsive.
And they're doing selfies at that. So you have degeneracy. You have narcissism. You have self-praise rolled into one thing with these women. Here's the thing that I think Allah said that pride and arrogance are reserved for him, as they should be. But yet the women have taken it upon themselves to do these kind of disgusting things and actually have selfies doing it.
Repulsive. It's dangerous and it is perverted. Okay, this is the satanic existence that we're living in.
And I will say this, people think I'm overreacting when I say things like this, but this is the West is truly the devil's playground. And I'm going to say something that is going to upset a lot of people, but if it were up to me and not up to my country in Africa, that would probably be like, what are you doing, man? This isn't our conflict to be involved in. I would go help my Chechen brothers in the Ukraine shooting them Nazis because of the degeneracy that they're trying to push. If you look at any Ukrainian army ad right now, you can see 2 male soldiers making out with each other right now. If you look at the American army ads right now, you can see that a woman is coming from a 2-mom household and that she was still able to be all that she can be. This is what we're living in right now, guys. This is it.
Within dating, and we have to take these women seriously and we can't judge them. Dude, forget that. Dump these women to the wayside and get your passport, bro, because this
exactly. I've dumped all Western women to the wayside. I don't give a crap if she's a Senegalese Western woman. She's still under that programming. I'll give you another example. There were 2 Sierra Leonean women who liked me. Okay. I didn't give them a time of day. It turns out that was the right decision. One smoked weed, the other one got pregnant out of wedlock. And mind you, they were supposed to both be Muslim. But I mean, if you're doing things like that, you're not praying. You're probably not praying. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
This is not it at all. Okay. This is shameful. This is shameful. Okay. She should be ashamed of herself. Disgusting. This is the game, fellas. What I've said before, modern women Generation Z women have the digital footprint of an adult film actress.
And that's true. Okay, when you look at all these women, including the women on TikTok, okay, especially the ones on TikTok, let's woof. What the main thing that all those women pretty much have in common, the main thing I will say that they have in common is that all of them pretty much act the same way with their lewd, illicit, just promiscuous nature, which unfortunately we have to, the only way not to accept it is not to pay attention to it. But unfortunately, there are guys who will pay attention to it.
I'm not lying. This is true. So the next video I have for you guys pretty much affirms what I have been saying. We're going to review this Tatiana, who is disrespecting this street preacher, and it looks like she's actually getting an exorcism performed on her. So let's watch.
Sin, this is what sin does to people.
So when you look at all these fembots, one thing they have in common is colored hair and a septum ring. Unfortunately, there are men who are now fembots because now they color their hair in all these kind of fruity colors. These colors, like you'll see men with like blue hair. You'll see men with all like saffron hair. You'll see them with all these three colors, and you wonder why. You know, you wonder why you see them in this sort of way.
This is not normal. This is a clear example.
Absolutely. He's absolutely right. This is not normal for young women to openly objectify themselves, especially in the presence of a God-fearing man. Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous and it's disrespectful. And whether you agree with them or not, doing this is absolutely not only disrespectful.
And that's the thing about a Muslim. Like, you know, the thing is about the church, okay, about the church is that, you know, we know at this time, and this also includes the mosque. I mean, I'm not going to even sit here and cap, but we know at this time, like the mosque, the church are just like kind of like figureheads for the religion, and the religion is kind of has taken a back seat. But that doesn't mean that we don't respect it. Okay? I'm still going to respect a church, right? I'm not going to like desecrate or defecate on a church, or I'm not going to do anything that is going to be like disrespectful, even if their Bible has been tampered with, okay? I'm still not going to disrespect it, okay? I'm not going to do that, right? It's not my place to do it. So this is why with her doing this is very disrespectful to a man who is trying to, you know, in essence trying to lead people to goodness, maybe, you know. But let's continue.
Disrespectful to this man, but disrespectful to yourself. All he's doing is exercising his freedom of speech and preaching the gospel so that any, you know, aching ear can come and listen to what he has to say and maybe find repentance and find salvation through Christ. But this woman comes up and she is absolutely disrespecting everything that the Lord stands for. It's blasphemous, it's haram, and it's got to stop.
Example of what is natural.
Obviously, she is an OF girl, okay, and she's going to be burnt out in the next 5 years.
This is a problem in the.
And that's another thing. And I don't care if you do artistic, risque pictures, it's still going to be the same result. Okay, a man, you know, you look at Mia Khalifa, you look at freaking Brittany Renner, you look at Amber Rose, you look at all these women, and they're going to meet the same fate. You look at Vita Guerrera, they all meet the same fate at the end of the day. Okay? They all meet the same fate. There's no reason why you should be 49 years old and you're still on OnlyFans. You look at that woman, Lou Bell. She's 65 something on OnlyFans. These are burnt out women. But they still repeat the cycle over and over and over and over again.
Look at all the tattoos and then look who she's with. Sisters, we got.
Okay, the thing is too about all these women, and I'm not gonna even lie, even on a corporate level. One thing I noticed about these women, right? And this is why I had to leave corporate America. And alhamdulillah, I did leave corporate America. Alhamdulillah for that. One thing you'll notice about corporate America is these women are so cursed by Allah that you would think in a corporate world they would not like really allow tattoos. But even if a woman dresses business professional, right? For example, if a woman dresses business professional, okay, I still see the damn tattoos. There's this one of the women in which I worked with who dressed like professional. I still saw the tattoos on her feet. I still saw the tattoos on her leg, even if she was wearing wearing pants. There was this one wildebeest who had tattoos on her face. How she got hired? Affirmative action, probably. Were those tattoos appropriate? No, they weren't. But yet they still allowed her to be hired. But let's continue.
Gotta do better. We can't condone this debauchery. We can't be a part of this.
You're ugly right here. What do you think you are, a Barbie doll?
Yes, thank you. Can you say oh me, oh my?
Jesus, big sick today. This is sick right here. Out of your mind. Amen. You are Jesus Christ himself. You lesbian straight. You're taken from God. You exist because of God.
God is taken from
you. Exist.
Now listen to that. I want you to listen to what she just said. And this is the unfortunate thing about a lot of these women. This is the unfortunate thing about a lot of these women. Okay? A lot of these women, okay? A lot of these women a lot of these women, right, actually think of themselves as goddess because of the simple fact that men, unfortunately, this is unfortunate. This is very, very unfortunate. Okay. It's unfortunate that it's really unfortunate that men, I'm going to say like young Pharaoh, men like young Pharaoh said that the black woman is God. It's very unfortunate that people said it's very unfortunate that men bought into this as well. that men bought into this whole notion that the black woman is God. Okay? That's why they called them goddess. That's why they called them queen. That's exactly why they did that. Okay? And this is why I hate to say it, but when you pedestalize women like that, they think that no, there is nothing wrong upon them, and they don't do um they don't do they don't do the evaluation and things like that. You know what I mean? That's the whole issue. That's really what it comes down to, because they're not told to do these things. You know? They're not told they need to do them. You know? Well, let's continue.
You exist because you're.
You heard what she said, and they keep calling men narcissists. He said, "You have taken from God. You exist because of God." And she said, "God has taken from me." These women believe that they're gods on earth, and you're not.
And that's a fact. These women believe that they are gods on earth. Okay? And they believe that they're queens, and they're not even queens. Okay? They're nowhere near that. Okay? They're nowhere near that.
Honey, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're undateable. Get your passports.
Man was not a lesbian because men and a man cannot procreate because it's unnatural. God made him male. I love the truth. I love Jesus.
I love
that is the.
What's your favorite part of the Bible? What's your favorite song?
Can't live in sin and still go to heaven.
That's so cool. I love living in sin.
So you heard them. You're hearing them say these things. Okay? I'm not making this up. You guys think I'm making these things up. I don't make these things up. Okay? She said she loves living in sin. I don't make this up, bro. I really don't.
You heard what she said. She loves living in sin. Don't cuff them, brothers. Just smash.
Now, that's the one thing I disagree with. I like this brother. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't even smash him because, you know, when it comes to that, you know, you don't want that energy. You don't want that energy to, you know, rub off on you. That's the thing. Like, you don't want that. You don't want that energy to basically rub off on you. Okay? That's some dirty energy. You don't need that. So if I were you, I wouldn't even sleep with them, to be honest. I wouldn't even do that.
So as these women make a fool of themselves, the
biological man.
him in every way. Let's listen. This white man basically said that, hey, I'm not down with dating transformers, and I support him in every way. Let's listen up.
He said, Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm the same way. I'll smash an old ass woman, okay, wrinkles and all. I would smash her over over a Decepticon. Okay, I'm not doing that, bro. And you can't make me, I don't care. You can try to make me believe that it's a woman, but it's still a man regardless, okay? You can try to make me believe it's a woman, but it's still a man. At the end of the day, I don't give a crap what you say. It's still a man. You can try to make me believe that it's a woman when it's not. It's not a woman, you know? Well, let's continue.
Because then I wouldn't be gay. Are you like, Chase, how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually, what the fuck do you mean?
Because if I had sex with a
And you see how demonic they are when you simply voice an opinion that you don't want to be gay. Okay? You see how mad they get. They get extra mad when you simply say, I'm not going to go that route. Okay? Like, the fact that they get mad that you're not going that route goes to show you what kind of time they're on. I'm telling you, bro, like, I really think, I honestly think, yeah, I know this is sounding harsh, but I honestly think the wrath of Allah is on these women. And I hate to say it, but, you know, and this is going to sound messed up, but I'm going to be honest, the wrath of Allah is on the Muslim women too, because they adopted these kind of ways. Nobody told them that this was the way to follow. They simply did it anyway, though. Simply decided that, hey, you know, they basically decided that what they had, right, with the non-Muslim Western women, what they had was better than what Allah has. They decided. That's what they decided, bro. I'm dead serious. This is what they decided, man. And, you know, the way to look at that is, bro, you just have to, I mean, yeah, bro, this is it.
trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man. And I don't want to do that. Because I'd be gay if I had sex with a biological man.
That's not gay.
That's
So,
And you know, another thing that these women would do too, and they try to do this, they try to like finesse you in. They'll say, oh, like, you know, oh, they'll say, oh, you know, you having relations with a woman or a Decepticon is not 9AY. But the moment you do that is the moment that they're gonna like talk about you for the fact that you had relations with someone that's 9AY, you know, or had a relation with a 9AY person.
I don't know if this is actually a trans or a real woman, a shaming language for losing, aka sexual. So
Ellen can shut the fuck up, actually.
I'm-
Why not be a bar at all? She's right. I mean, that's really
But
hateful,
she's
bro.
not.
That's really hateful, bro. It's gotten to a point that you can't even have an opinion around modern women that's opposite of their thinking and actually get away with it. I kid you not. I got kicked out of a TikTok room for my strong opinions on therapy. I got kicked out. They kicked me out. They kicked me out of a room. Okay? They kicked me out of a room for my views on therapy. They kicked me out. Anytime you say something opposite of what they believe, you're in the crosshairs. You are in the crosshairs. Okay? It's sad it is like that, but you will be in the crosshairs.
She's not.
And then the white girl says she's right. That's really hateful, bro. Dude, I gotta get on this podcast because I will tear them a new one.
I'm telling you, bro, they don't want me on. Listen, even if I was on Just Pearly Things, I would tear Just Pearly Things a new one, because I'm just gonna be like, yeah, you exemplify modern woman nature. You're catering to the men, like, well, I won't even say catering, but you're speaking on points that are favorable to men, because you know that's where the profit's gonna come from. And you're a survivalist. You knew that there was this Manosphere affair was a lucrative thing. They don't want me, bro. Like, hey, I'm gonna tell you something. There's one guy in the Haitian Revolution, called Jean-Jacques Dessalines. You know, his name was Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And the thing is about it is that the thing is about Jean-Jacques Dessalines is that he was a savage, okay? And what I mean by that is that guy is that guy did not tolerate anything. And they said that he was actually too harsh, right? They said that he was actually too harsh. That's what they said. They said, yo, this guy is too harsh. You know, he's hatred. You know, he has hatred for people and things like that, right? Mind you, he's a former slave. And I will say something like that. I will say that actually, you know, the spirit of those people live on in me. And the reason why I say that is because they would not tolerate the things that are going on right now. You know, they would actually try to, like, actually they would be public enemy number one right now. You know what I mean? So with that being said, this is what it comes down to. You know, this is what it really comes down to. And so I would be unhinged. I'm gonna be honest. I would be pretty unhinged, and many people wouldn't like how unhinged I would be.
would technically be homosexual. A trans woman is a biological man. Sue me, it's true. You know what God said? It said he made them man and women.
Facts.
He made them man and woman. I just told you I'm not gay. I'll pass on that. Thanks, though.
Good, man. Hey, shout out to this brother. Shout out to this guy. He's doing the Lord's work, telling these women the truth in their face.
Who knew that stating biological facts would make people walk off the show?
All right, guys. So y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy Reclaim Your Throne. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Send your relationship question to email down below with a screenshot of your cash app. So I know you
Shout outs to Reclaim Your Throne. Shout outs to him. You know, shout outs to Reclaim Your Throne, you know. Yep. He did a good job with this information. You know, this he did some good work with this, you know. He did very, very good work. I'm not gonna even cap. Shout outs to him, you know. Now I want to get into something else. I know I've been on here quite long and the replay is going to be too long. They don't. They hate straight men's opinions. They hate them. They absolutely hate them. They absolutely hate them. They absolutely hate them. Now, one thing I want to get into, and this is just goes to show you how evil and how Allah has cursed these modern women. You would think that she would be happy and content. She married into the royal family, and you had women cheering. You had women being like, "Oh yeah, you know, Meghan Markle, you know, we have a black." They were like, "We have a black princess in the." That's one thing they said. They said we have a black princess in the whatchamacallit, in the ranks. They were like, "Oh, we have a black princess in the ranks." That's the talking point they used, right? Come to find out, she's really not a princess at all. And there was actually something that said she was disappointed in the fact that she was actually disappointed in the fact that the Mr. Harry actually looked in the monetary funds in which she seeked in order to upgrade her life. But let's look more into this matter. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. People thought I was just a hater and things like that when I said, why would I be proud of this woman marrying into a family full of whose only reason why they're the royal family is because of colonialization and slavery. Okay? The reason why they're rich is from looting, destroying, and pillaging Africa. Okay? It's like they just took turns. For example, where I come from, in Senegambia, it was just like a fair exchange. Like, okay, the French would do it in Senegal first, then the British came through and would do it. Then the Portuguese came through and did it. It was like they were like jostling amongst each other. It's the same thing in Nigeria. It's like, okay, you have the Germans who decided, hey, I want a piece of this in Nigeria. The French, in which they still have books from Nigeria in the libraries, in their museums right now, as we speak. It's like it was just like turn taking. Like, okay, no, it's my turn. Now it's your turn. This is how it went down. Okay. So when people like give these, like, when these people basically have these weird notions that the royal family, out of all the families who were in essence bloodthirsty looters, what makes you think that I would be happy about that? Now, granted, Meghan Markle, she's pretty average looking anyway. It's nothing I would go for, But this just goes to show you what kind of time we're living in right now. Okay. You would think, okay, she would be now the thing is about Prince Harry, may Allah curse him, because he killed a lot of Afghanistan's people. The fact that he would go to serve in that war, knowing that the Afghans whooped the British's ass beforehand a long time ago, shows that he didn't learn his lesson, or his people didn't learn their lesson. Another thing is about him is that he hasn't had to work for anything in his life, and she probably thought that, okay, here's my ticket to an easy life. That's what happened. But let's look into this.
That she married wasn't as a true hero when it comes to minorities, a true hero when it comes to the downtrodden, none other than Meghan Markle. And we learned that, yet another reason why she's suffering is that the bloke that she married wasn't as rich as she thought.
Wasn't rich at all. It's actually quite delicious. It's very clear. And this is from Tom Bauer, who's reporting in Mike's.
Now, granted, he in essence made that move himself, in which he decided that he was no longer going to be with the royal family to be with her, which shows that he's a simp. Because if like, for example, if I came from, like, let's just say I came from Ahlul Bayt, let's just say I came from Ahlul Bayt, which is the prophet's bloodline, the prophet's progeny. Let's say if I came from that bloodline and I decided to marry a non-Muslim woman, but my family was like, nah, man, you can't do that. You got to keep it within the religion. Okay? I'm going to listen to my family. I'm going to be like, okay, you're right. I'm going to dump this girl. But no, this guy, although I don't like his family, as a matter of fact, may Allah curse every one of the members of his family, he cut off himself from a life support system, which meant all the riches. Okay, he cut himself off from that. So it's, obviously this is the reason why he's in the situation he's in. Okay, this is why he's in the predicament he's in right now. Right? Well, let's continue.
Experience you can take to the bank. He wrote the book Revenge about her, and it's got great stuff in there. And it's not all bad for her. It's not like he's got it in for Meghan Markle. Like, there are some nice stories about her in there too, but he's got great sources, and he's very well known and respected in Great Britain. And he is reporting that Meghan was very disappointed to realize he doesn't have money. He's a prince who's a pauper.
So the thing is, I'm wondering is how much is a little money? Like, are we talking about are we talking about millions of dollars? Are we talking about billions of dollars? How much money are we talking about, quote unquote, little money? That's what I'm wondering. That's the one thing I'm wondering.
Unless I get the dad or maybe the brother, I'm going to wind up with no dough. I chose the poor one. Crap. So he's got fame, and he gave her that for sure. She's now a household name when she wasn't, just when she was doing Deal or No Deal or the Suits show. But he doesn't have any money. And now that it all makes sense, how she's pimped him out to write the memoir, how, maybe she didn't like how the PR tour went, but she needed that money. He got a $20 million advance on Spare, or as South Park calls it. Wah. And she's crying all the way to the bank now because they got that. They got the $100 million Netflix deal. They got a $50 million Spotify deal. You mark my words, Paul.
So this just goes to show you that even a Western woman who pretty much has everything that you can desire is still not content with all those deals and things like that. Whereas you look at Aisha, whereas you look at Fatima, may Allah be pleased with them both, and they have very little, and yet they still stuck around. Right? Because the mission was more important than the material things. Okay?
She's going to blow through that in about 2 years in Montecito, which is one of the most expensive communities in America. That's still not enough dough to be riding private all the time, which they want to do while they lecture us about, driving an SUV or having our thermometer at 72 degrees. And she's going to try to trade up. It's going to be 5 years or under, I think, is the over-under on that relationship. And she's going to trade up for some American hedge funder, billionaire, what have you.
And that's true, because here you have a modern woman speaking about modern woman nature. What she's going to do is she's going to ride this gravy train as long as she can ride the gravy train. She'll ride the gravy train, and then when that train runs out, then she's going to try to look for something else, and hopefully there's nothing else available for her. And if there is even something there, that person will have enough sense to not even bother, okay, with them. Hopefully he will have enough sense not even to bother with Meghan Markle. I'm gonna play one last clip and I'm going to end right here because I've been on, let me see, I've been on since for 2 hours now, but I'll be on tomorrow night, inshallah. But I want to bring up another clip which just goes to show that the curse of Allah is on these women. Okay, let me show it. See. Okay. Yo, what the heck is going on? Did it freeze on me? Yeah, it froze. Let me share the screen again. I'll just share one more video.
Get away with a
Again, I don't like O'Shea Duke Jackson. I don't like O'Shea Duke Jackson, okay? I just use his videos as reference points. All right. I don't like him though. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really fond of O'Shea Duke Jackson. It's just that the videos are reference points. Okay. That's it.
deal at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Now's the time to get in. And
recently, the Pew Research Center came out with this article that said Black YouTube sector or Black social media is because the number one group of men who claim to be single are African American men. Now, this article, when I read it, it never talked about why these men are single or got any thoughts from these men. Most research articles never do. They only talk about that these men are single and that they're declining to be in relationships, but they're never experiencing why or telling the men's experience why in the articles. And a lot of times when men are never explaining themselves or they don't explain themselves, sometimes people go out and lie to make the explanation for men. Now, I want to talk about popular YouTuber Real Talk with Yanni. Now, what she did was she posted this particular article on her community tab, and it says this: I told you ladies, their hands have got to be tired at this point. And of course, this article by the Neighborhood Talk says, oh wow, researchers claim 63% of men under 30 are single because they rather watch PORN than go on a date. They're getting a lot of their needs met without having to go out. Now stop the show. Looks like the Neighborhood Talk took a page out of Media Takeout and actually started lying and making up things that don't make sense. Because if you go to the Pew Research Center and you type in the phrase PORN, you get 0 results, meaning that that word or phrase was never mentioned.
Okay, so I'm not downplaying. I'm not downplaying like the fact that some men decide, hey, it's better to make knuckle babies than it is better to, entertain these women. I'm not doubting that. But some men just have disciplined monk mode where they're antisocial. Hell, I'll admit I'm antisocial. I'll admit that. I'm antisocial. If you knew Nip Hustle, although he would be around like record executives and things like that, he didn't really like taking pictures like that. The only picture I have of him, I have like 3 pictures with him. The first picture is like when we were way younger. The second picture we have is when he was like about to get on. And third picture we have is when he was on already. And he just came out with, I think it was Slauson Boy 2. But that dude was like a non-flick taker, although he's seen in a lot of flicks, okay? But he used to tell me all the time, yeah, man, I don't really like taking pictures like that, bro. And especially with, he said, especially with like dudes who are borderline queer. He even said, the circle is small. Everybody can't go. I'm sorry, that's how I move, because I hate to say it, but a lot of these Western people are goofy as hell, bro. So I'll be proud to say that I'm an antisocial old guy, especially among Pan-Africanists. I'm the most antisocial with them because, you know, Fulbe by nature, like, we do our own thing, basically. You know, and that's no disrespect to people, but it's just that people move differently in a way that I dislike. That's why I always found this stupid. I found this the dumbest thing ever, that coworkers would hang out with each other outside of work. That's dumb, bro. Like what? You can't you have to be around your coworkers even outside of work? You want to see how they act outside of work so you can get intel on them and know what triggers them? That's what, when I was at my last corporate job, that's what made them so pissed off, bro, about me. Is that, like, I would never, you know, they didn't know anything about me and they never knew what I was thinking, bro. And I'm going to keep it like that with every single person that's outside of my circle. You'll never know what I'm thinking. You'll never know what I'm feeling either.
In the article, yet what Real Talk with Yanni posted from the Neighborhood Talk was completely fabricated and made up. But we should get used to that, right? Because this is very similar to what's going on with the Passport Bros. Now, a lot of people know about the Passport Bro community, where you have men, largely American men, and if you want to be more niche specific, African American men are leaving the United States because they are going overseas for better women abroad. Now, of course, you're going to hear excuses like these.
When you pay attention to the Passport Bros, like, they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia, the Philippines, Thailand.
What happened with you two?
I didn't tell you. We was like brothers. It's Friday.
No friends in the industry. I had to draw the line between my
Out there boxing. I need you to start fighting. Creed 3, PG-13. Only be this Friday.
You can go solar for $0 down thanks to the Green Energy Stimulus Program.
And like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education, women that need them, women that need them.
Women are raised to be wives.
Mm-hmm.
They learn everything from birth, from their father, from their mother, how to be a wife and how to support your man.
Women that need them.
It's not even women that need them. It's women that treat them with respect.
So we don't.
Y'all know y'all don't.
And you see, and you see her like devilish laugh even. I mean, like, honestly, you see the tattoo, you see the devilish laugh, and you even see the red hair, because she knows damn well she doesn't treat men with respect. She knows this, you know. And for her to like just sit here and like basically act like she does is pretty stupid. We know darn well that that's not the case at all. Okay, we know this. We know this is not the case. You can tell by her sly devilish laugh that she even knows, yeah, you know, I'm not cooperative. I'm not I'm hard to deal with and things like that. She even knows.
That's not true. Fellas, it's 2022. You're talking about a freaking passport. I've had one of these since I was 2. Y'all were acting like they just came up with these in 2022.
Nobody's acting like they just came up with them in 2022. It's just gotten to a situation where they have to be used more often than not.
I'm gonna go over and get me a woman to be able to abuse her. Ain't nobody gonna do y'all understand?
Abuse her. So basically paying a dowry, meeting her family, becoming part of her family, supporting her along with the family at times is abusing her. And receiving good things in return is a form of abuse. Okay.
Understand how people feel about Americans. That just goes to show you ain't been nowhere. Okay, I've traveled most of the world. A lot of it is because I was a flight attendant. And let me tell you.
Okay, you probably didn't travel most of the world. You probably traveled domestically. You probably travel domestically.
You, America is one of the few places that you get off an airplane and there's not an army walking around there with an AK-47 grabbing your pack.
Okay, that sounds very stupid. I went to Cuba. There wasn't an army walking around with an AK-47. I went to Venezuela. There was no army walking around with a damn AK-47. So now you're just making things up because you're single. And again, that's one thing that Allah curses these women is the curse of deception. Because they will deceive you into believing that something that never happened before or something that isn't going to happen is all of a sudden now a thing in a country that they've never been to.
Passports and roughing you up, and you have to pay them in order to even get out of the freaking airport.
Okay, now you're making shit up. And that's the thing about these devils, is they make shit up. That's why the curse of Allah is on them too, is because they make shit up they don't have any knowledge of.
So y'all think y'all gonna run your broke asses over to other countries and
You can't be broke to travel. Okay? You definitely can't be broke to, especially if you're going to a place like where I'm going, where I'm going, the ticket is more than whatchamacallit. The ticket is more than the ticket is more than what you think. Okay? The ticket is at least it's put it this way. It's not in the hundreds. So therefore, please cut it out.
they go, oh, these some black kings from America. Most people don't like Americans. They think that we are overrated. They think that we're better than everybody else. They don't like us.
And see, I played those two clips there because they talk about really what I'm talking about today. These are also being castigated because you're so busy watching PORN, right? Respond to another lady hating on Passport Bros. Let me talk about this. I want to also take it back to what this got a lot of sense.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees?
Even in this particular Pew Research Center article, let's play that clip.
So I was thinking about this. Why do they care? Why do they care that men are going their own way and finding women in foreign countries? Why are they so upset? Why do they call them dusty and useless and then get mad that they're leaving? They don't want them, but they don't want them to leave. And why are they making these videos? To tell us how they don't care. And it finally struck me. The video is not for the Passport Boys. The videos are for their orbiters, the friend zone men. They want to make
bingo. And that's the deceptive game that these women play. The thing is, the outrage for the Passport Bros is not for the Passport Bros. The outrage is for the future generations who will become Passport Bros. I even had a guy in high school ask me, how can I become a Passport Bro? And I said, simple. Tell your parents that you want to go to the post office. Hopefully your parents are supportive of it. Have them fill out some things and submit your paperwork, and boom, you're in. Okay? You're in.
Sure they don't get this idea in their head that they can go somewhere else, that there are other women available to them if they just leave the country. They need these men to stay in their orbit, to keep validating them. That is what they're terrified, is they will lose the influence they have amongst the few men who still put up with them.
Now, see, what this guy is saying is very important because what Real Talk with Yanny posted and what I believe she thought was the truth, is you see, the guys that are trying to stay out of the dating market are the guys who want to go become passport bros. These two guys signify one thing with men in today's world, a somewhat of a revolution. The guys who are going to stay here and refuse to date in, let's say play video games or focus on themselves, are the guys who are going away to find a better deal somewhere else. These guys are no longer going to be friend zone material, you see? And so what ladies are doing is they're not going to date these guys regardless, but they're going to shame them to stay on the path of friend zone ship, rather. So when these ladies need something, they need somebody to come and fix something for them.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. I'm gonna wrap this up.
You can't always get what
All right.
Had a baby, yeah, and you are working 40 hours a week.
So you see, and this is sad. This is very, very sad. This is very, very sad, but I'm just gonna say it, and may Allah forgive me if this is backbiting
This is a message
or
to
something like
this-
that. But uh, you know, the- and we're gonna have to go over this brother's show. Shout outs to Ali Dawa. Shout outs to him. And
Should men get
shout outs to him and what he's doing. And he's exposing he's exposing he's exposing the debauchery debauchery of these women. And unfortunately they're Muslim women. And now let's look at these women now. Okay. And let's look at the fact that they have one thing in common. They're all unmarried. Let's look.
The brothers are asking, how do I know on the marriage night? How can I tell if she's a virgin?
Mm.
And the sisters will ask, how can I hide it?
Bingo. There you go. There you freaking go. Okay. There you go. There you go. He already told us everything we need to know.
because I have committed a sin. I have committed sin.
Sister, what does that mean? What does
No,
that
why
mean?
does a woman's past matter?
You see what I'm saying? You see my point. Oh my God. A man's past matters too. You don't want to like let's be honest. For example, I'll give a perfect example. Yeah, you wouldn't want to entertain a man who maybe had a history or a past of like domestic violence or something like that. Of course you wouldn't want to entertain that, right? You wouldn't want any parts of that. You would be like, hell no, like let me fall back. Okay? Let me go ahead and fall back from that. I don't need that in my life. Right? It's the same thing. Well, you can't. I mean, somewhat you can compare it. In other ways, you can't compare it. But let's get into it.
Like spiritually, a man who's slept a lot around spiritually, I don't think he's going to be any healthier than a woman has slept around.
That's not true. That's not true, bro.
On a spiritual level.
No, that's not true.
No, I'm saying on a
That's not true.
spiritual level. Of course,
That's not
Habibi.
true. But can you answer the question within that?
Yeah.
frame? 'Cause that's what's
For me,
important.
yeah, it wouldn't be a
It wouldn't be a
problem for me.
Exactly. See, for us, it would be a problem.
That's actually what they want. You know what? I'm gonna wait to go over this video because I've been on here for a while now. But you know, this is the direction that well, this is actually not the direction, but this is actually this is actually where the Ummah is right now. But with that being said, for those who tuned in, thank you. I will be back tomorrow night, inshallah. And again, it's SYSBM, SYSMB, save yourself, Muslim brother. Njarama.